Stop scrolling right now because a UFC champion has just sent a message, not to a fighter, but to Dana White. And the name behind that warning is Dakota Ditcheva. But here's the twist. The person saying it is Kayla Harrison. And according to her, Dakota Ditcheva is the real deal in the future of MMA. This isn't hype anymore. It's a warning coming straight from inside the sport.
Dakota Ditcheva, first off, what do you think of her performances so far this year?
Oh, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders.
Dakota's compared. She trains hard. She's got, again, the best team around her. She's so disciplined, and she's just so fucking good, dude. Like, she is the real deal. She's the full package. I'm super excited for her. I think that this is about to be a big coming out party when she makes it look easy.
What's the prediction?
I mean, I think she's gonna knock her out.
This wasn't trash talk. This wasn't promotion. This was respect from one of the most dominant fighters in the world. Because Kayla Harrison doesn't hype fighters for no reason. She is a two-time Olympic gold medalist, a UFC champion, and a proven finisher. And when she says someone is dangerous, you listen. Let's be real. Dakota Ditcheva is not normal. 15 fights, 15 wins, 12 knockouts. That's not just skill, that's destruction. She is the 2024 PFL World Champion and the #1 flyweight in the PFL. Her style is pure violence, Muay Thai pressure, explosive combinations, and brutal knees to the body that ends fights instantly.
Come here.
Because Kayla Harrison didn't just praise her, she broke it down. She called her young, hungry, disciplined, motivated, and most importantly, a killer. That's not a casual word in MMA. It means one thing. She doesn't fight just to win. She fights to finish. And Harrison made it clear, Dakota Ditcheva is only getting better.
Behind your teammate, Dakota Ditcheva, first off, what do you think of her performances so far this year?
Oh, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good...
Now here's where the controversy begins. Because Dakota Ditcheva isn't even in the UFC, she's in the PFL, and yet a UFC champion is publicly calling her the future of the sport. Think about that. That's not just praise. That's pressure on Dana White. If a fighter outside the UFC is being labeled elite, sooner or later the UFC has to respond. Now imagine a scenario. Dakota Ditcheva versus a UFC elite, or even crazier, Dakota Ditcheva versus Kayla Harrison. Striker versus grappler. Speed versus strength. Chaos versus control. Dakota needs space, but Kayla destroys space. One clinch, one takedown, one mistake, and suddenly the striker isn't striking anymore. She's surviving. But the real message behind all of this is simple. Kayla Harrison isn't just praising Dakota Ditcheva. She's warning everyone. When a champion recognizes a threat this early, it means one thing. That fighter is coming fast and dangerous. So now the question is yours. If Dakota Ditcheva enters the UFC, does she dominate, or does someone like Kayla Harrison stop her?
Oh, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry.
Anything. Give me whoever you want. Get me to fight wherever you want. I'll stay in Europe. I'll go to America. I'll clean them all out. Just give them to me.
Kayla Harrison has just sent a shockwave through the women's MMA world with a brutal warning about Dakota Ditcheva and Chris Cyborg. If Kayla is right, Cyborg's legendary run could be in serious danger. That wasn't just respect. It was a direct message. Kayla Harrison believes Dakota Ditcheva isn't just good. She is a fighter capable of challenging and potentially defeating legends like Chris Cyborg. Harrison, a two-time PFL champion and now a UFC star, has never been shy about speaking her mind. But this time felt different. She called Dakota a killer and the future of MMA, even warning that she has the tools to end Cyborg's reign of dominance.
Yeah, I think she's good.
That is confidence.
They say to me, she's running through all these girls because they're not very good. But if you put these girls against other people, they have close fights. Whereas when you put them with me, I finish them early, so I make it look.
Harrison isn't hyping her for nothing. She knows what it takes to dominate at the highest level. And when she looks at Dakota, she sees someone younger, hungrier, and scarier than almost anyone in the division right now. Let's talk about Dakota Ditcheva. The British striker has been running through everyone in the PFL while staying undefeated. She is explosive, a technical assassin with a killer instinct. Some fans already call her the female Khamzat Chimaev because of how violently she finishes fights. She's not just talented, she's disciplined, hungry, and surrounded by a rock-solid team. That's exactly the kind of recipe Harrison says makes her the future of MMA. But here's where it gets controversial. Kayla Harrison didn't just praise Dakota. She also fired a shot at Chris Cyborg, arguably one of the most feared women in MMA history. Cyborg has crushed legends like Gina Carano, Ronda Rousey's peers, and even Julia Budd. But Kayla just said it out loud. Dakota Ditcheva could threaten Cyborg's dominance. And for Kayla to say that, a fighter who knows firsthand what it's like to face killers, that's a message Cyborg cannot ignore. And so why does Kayla believe Dakota could be the one to dethrone Cyborg? It comes down to four things. First, youth. Dakota is only in her mid-20s, while Cyborg is in the final stretch of her career. Second, hunger. Dakota fights like every match is life or death. Third, discipline. She trains like a machine with zero distractions. And fourth, her support system. Kayla says Dakota's team is built for greatness. That combination, in Kayla's words, makes her unstoppable. This isn't just about Dakota Ditcheva. It's about a possible changing of the guard in women's MMA. Harrison knows it, Cyborg knows it, and fans are starting to feel it too. Imagine the fight. Dakota Ditcheva versus Chris Cyborg. The young lion versus the battle-tested queen. A clash that could define the next decade of women's MMA. Kayla Harrison's words weren't just praise. They were a warning. She flat out said Dakota is coming to challenge Chris Cyborg's legacy. But the question is, do you believe it? Can Dakota Ditcheva really beat one of the most feared women in MMA history? Or is Kayla Harrison overhyping her fellow PFL star?
First off, what do you think of her performances so far this year?
Bro, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got a great team.
Harrison, the woman often called the face of women's MMA outside the UFC, has just said what most fighters are too afraid to say. Dakota Ditcheva is the future of MMA. Kayla didn't just call her good. She called her a killer. Her exact words were, she's young, she's hungry, she's a killer, she'll kill the UFC, she'll kill me. That's coming from a two-time Olympic gold medalist and PFL superstar who has competed on the biggest stages. When Kayla Harrison, who once had Amanda Nunes in her sights, suggests that Dakota Ditcheva could even threaten her own career, that's not fear. It's respect at the highest level.
Not in the UFC yet, but look at Dakota Ditcheva. She is a scary striker, and she is an amazing athlete, right? But her mom was Muay Thai world champion, so she came up in this sport and has been doing.
And it's not just Kayla Harrison. Even UFC veteran Juliana Miller, a former TUF champion, has sounded the alarm. She said, Dakota isn't just talented, she's a scary problem. A striker, a killer, the future of MMA. Think about that. UFC fighters themselves are admitting that Dakota isn't just good enough to compete. She's dangerous enough to shake entire divisions. Miller even warned she's coming to take over UFC divisions. When fighters from both sides of the sport, UFC and PFL, start calling one woman a killer, you know something big is coming. Dakota Ditcheva isn't begging to join the UFC, and she's not chasing Dana White for a contract. She's doing the exact opposite. She's saying, give me competition against UFC fighters. I'll take on the UFC. That's unheard of. Fighters usually dream of getting a UFC call, but Dakota is threatening to disrupt the entire women's flyweight division. And here's the proof. Remember Taila Santos, the woman who pushed Valentina Shevchenko to a razor-close split decision? When Dakota fought Santos, she didn't just win. She dominated her with no controversy and no debate. That's the kind of momentum she's carrying into this conversation. And if there's one name Dakota Ditcheva has in her crosshairs, it's the queen herself, Valentina Shevchenko. Dakota admits Valentina would be her toughest opponent ever. She respects her striking, grappling, and championship reign, but she doesn't see herself as the underdog. She believes she is younger, faster, and stronger, and says she would drag Valentina into a brutal war. And if Dakota actually beats Valentina, that wouldn't just be a win. It would be a statement to the entire UFC. Proof that one of the most dangerous flyweights might not even be in the UFC, but in the PFL. So what happens if Dakota is right? If she runs through Valentina and challenges the UFC's dominance, we could be looking at one of the biggest power shifts in women's MMA history. Fans already imagining the matchups. Dakota Ditcheva versus Valentina Shevchenko, Dakota versus Alexa Grasso, Dakota versus Erin Blanchfield. This isn't just hype anymore. It's a growing movement in women's MMA. So when Kayla Harrison says she's a killer who could take over the UFC, when Juliana Miller warns she's a scary problem, and when Dakota Ditcheva herself says she'll dominate UFC competition, it's clear the MMA world is on the edge of something massive. These statements aren't just hype. They signal a potential shift in power that could lead to a war in women's MMA unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Shot right there, right in the body, bang!
From that southpaw stance.
Somewhere in the world, Bas Rutten is bouncing up and down right now.
Dakota Ditcheva with a quick six. And clinches the #1 seed. Class work again from Dakota Ditcheva in the striking.
Man.
The playoffs for the win of any kind.
Oh, see.
Brutal. Oh, nasty combination. And the body moves. Dakota.
If she's going to have that getting up, it's going to be unbelievable.
Beautiful knees from the plum. And Ditcheva gets the bishop back to her feet and goes immediately on the attack. Vincent's in trouble.
She's young, undefeated, and already sending shockwaves through the sport. From Manchester, England, Dakota Ditcheva stepped into the cage in 2020, and in just a handful of fights, she has made veterans look like amateurs. But this isn't a typical prospect makes a big story, because Dakota is doing it with a mix of technical precision and a killer instinct that even the UFC's most dominant women didn't have at her age. Dakota isn't just here to collect paychecks. In a recent interview, she made it crystal clear that she wants the big names, the legends, and the so-called queens of violence. She straight up called out Valentina Shevchenko, and fans are already fantasy booking her against Kayla Harrison. And let's be real, if Ronda Rousey ever made the mistake of coming back, Dakota's speed and accuracy could end the fight in under a minute. What makes Dakota so dangerous isn't just her skill, it's her mentality.